Hello and welcome to this video where we'll go into Taipy. So this is super cool. It's a open source Python framework designed for building interactive data-driven web applications. It's for data scientists, data engineers, data analysts, and AI developers. So it's entirely in Python, and this is quite cool. And you can build full stack applications in Python alone, so you don't need to traditionally connect with JavaScript and HTML, CSS. Here in Taipy, it's also something called reactive programming. So you'll get to know what that means so that you can bind Python, the variables into the code so that when something changes, everything will update at the same time. This feature is quite unique. I think it's the only framework in Python that has this type of feature. But when you look into the JavaScript world, you have, for example, Svelte, which also have reactive programming, but there's many more in JavaScript. But in Python, this is quite unique. So here I am in Visual Studio Code. So let's start with a new terminal. I'll just show you what I have here. And it's empty except for this assets folder where I have a few pictures. One of, for example, apple, avocado. It looks like this. Nothing fancy, just a few pictures because I want to show them in my app later on. Starting with a terminal here, I will start a new virtual environment. So uv-ven, and then source.ven bin activate, and then uv pip install. What do I need? I need Taipy. Actually, Taipy plot, and I need, let's see. And so if I need something else, I will install it on the way. So this is quite good start. Yes. And let's now create, let's do like this. Code main.py. So here, let's create our first application. So import taipy.gui.builder as TGB. And one thing to note is that I will use the Python syntax. In Taipy, you can write code in Python syntax or in Markdown syntax. I use the Python syntax, but you can look up the Markdown syntax if you want to learn that. Maybe I will make a video in the future about the Markdown syntax, but right now I'll focus on the Python syntax. Okay, from taipy.gui, import GUI. Okay, so this is basically what we need. And then if dunder name equals to dunder main, and then I will run my GUI. And I will place in a page, and then I will do .run. I will make dark mode equals false, and I will use this also. Use reloader equals true so that we can reload the page. And by default, it opens up a web server in port 5000, but I will use port 8080 as my 5000 is already in use with something else. So this is a good start, and we need a page as well. So with TGB, so this is Taipy GUI builder dot page, and then as page, basically like this. And then we can start building up our layout, our web application, the front end part. So tgb.text, and I will place in a header here, hello Taipy, and I will have mode equals to markdown. Okay, so this is hashtag gives me an h1 or a header. First, the title page, title text, and that is it. And I will run this one. So I will put this into my virtual env, and then I'll run this one. Let's see. All right, I have it open already. Okay, let me close this one. I'll run it again. Perfect. Here, this is my Taipy app. You can see it's quite simple to get this up and running. So I will have my Visual Studio Code on the one side, and I will have Taipy on the other side. Let us build our app now. Hello Taipy, I will do some more text, tgb.text. Welcome to the world of Reactive programming. Okay, and if I want to update this one, I need to click the refresh button, and you can do F5 if you don't want to click all the time, or you can do, I have Command R in Mac, probably Control R in Windows will work as well. And you can see here it says, welcome to the world of reactive programming. Okay, great. However, I don't want it in the left, too much on the left inside. Instead, I want to place it in something called a container. So a part is basically, this is what you use for grouping several elements. So I'll use this to group these two. So TGB part, I'll do like this. However, I can choose here to do class name. So basically, if you're familiar with CSS, this adds a CSS class, which you can later on style in CSS. However, there are some classes that are already by default in Taipy that you can pick from. And one of them is container. So if I do container now, and you can see it jumps in a little bit. But if I go up here, you see it's jumped in a lot. So this is basically, if you go into inspect, you can click on this one, and you can see here is the H1 and here is the main. So if I click on this one, so this is the H1, and you go up here, this is Taipy text, so it creates a div, and then in the div it has an H1, right? So if I go up a little bit here, you can see this is the container. You can see the class, it has something called Taipy part, and then it has a class called container and some other class here. So basically, the container class makes it centered. So centered, that is what I want. And we can do like this. We have, so container, I will do another class that already has styling built in. It's called card. And update this one, and you can see I get the card here. So this is a great start. So let's show what I mean with reactive programming. So basically like this, tgb dot text. This is the value from my slider. Let's see, tgb dot text from my slider. So if I update this one, you see this is the value from my slider, nothing, right? It's, however, if I do like this, slider value equals 5. And I place in here slider value. So this one, now you can see 5 comes in here. Okay, so this one gets the value from this variable here. Oh, decrease it a little bit. Actually, I can make this a little bit smaller. Like this. Okay. So by doing this, we actually get this into becoming reactive. So it means that there is a variable called state, which we will work with later on, which stores all these values globally when we have made them dynamic. So this we have done, we have made this variable dynamic. So slider value is now dynamic. And when it's dynamic, let me show you what I mean with that. So we can do like this, tgb.slider. We can place in our slider value, and we can do like this, min equals 1, max equals 20. Okay. So I update this one, and you can see there's a slider here. It's in 5. So I change this, you can see the value changes. So this is dynamic value. So when I change this one, this variable, the state variable, has changed. So state.slider value has changed. And also the state is different for different users. So if I rerun this one, you can see that I rerun this one, it's still 15. Even if the slider value was 5 before, because it's saved in the state for me as a user. If someone else is using my app, then they have another state, right? So if I change this one, this slider will change as well. This value here. Okay, so that is quite cool. So we have a slider here. Let's do something more that is cool. Let's do tgb.text, select your favorite fruit. And then you saw that I had a few fruits. So tgb.selector. And the selector, you put in the value here. And I put in my dynamic variable as well, or I make an existing variable dynamic. So I'll choose selected fruit. However, I don't have a selected fruit, so I need to initialize it. Selected fruit equals to, say, apple. And then on the list of values, love. So we place in the list of value, apple. Let's see, what did we have more? Apple, we have tomato, we have avocado. What else did we have? Let's see, apple, avocado, assets, banana, right? Banana. Okay, like this. So I update this one, and you can see here is the selector. So I can pick apple, tomato, avocado, banana, right? However, I want it to be drop down. So drop down equals true. And you can see it's a drop down now. Select your favorite food. Okay. So can I do something fun with this? I can. So tgb.image. Let's see. So it's inside of assets, right? So assets slash selected fruit dot JPEG. Okay. We run this one and it chooses apple, tomato, avocado, banana. Cool. So now we have tgb.image. Let's do tgb.text. So it seems that you like selected fruit, and I will make it into bold. In order to make it into bold, I also need to do mode equals to markdown. So rerun this one, and you can see here, it seems like you like apple and it's bold. So tomato, banana, avocado. Cool. So this is really cool. So we have created our, let's see, I'll close this one down. I'll use it when I need it again. So now I have here as, let's see, my avocado. And now let's create some calculator just to show you a little bit more with the reactive programming. tgb.text to hashtag is h2, so a second header. So Kulu calculator markdown for the mode equals md, like this. Run it. Yes, cool calculator coming. So let us write tgb.text.input or tgb.text. Start with text. Type in a number and then tgb.input. So input, I will let the user write something. So my input, I want it to be number 1. And then let's see, I need to specify an input. Number 1 equals to 5, for example. So I rerun this one. You can see there's a number 5 here. And right now it doesn't do anything. So let us copy these two. And I will type in another number. Another number 2. And I will copy this one. 3, number 2. Yes, good. 2 prime numbers. Okay. Let's see. It says number 2 here, but types object has attribute number 2. Number 1, number 2. Okay. Run this one. Yes, type in another number. Okay, and then I will want to have a result that is, I want to say tgb.text. Let's see. You type in number 1 and number 2. Let's see, mode equals to markdown, and I will make this bold as well. Let's see. Okay. So I make this bold. I rerun this one, and you can see there's 5 and 3, and it's dynamic, right? So whatever I type here, I get it displayed here. If I type text, I'll get it displayed as well. I haven't done any checks that it must be a number. However, let's not do the checks. So if I remove it, you see it's a star star. Okay, so let's do some calculations based on this one. Okay, what type of calculations can we do? We can do like this. P equals to number 1 plus number 2. And then we can do like this tgb.text. Let's copy this one so I don't need to type all of it. It should be marked down. So I want to have number 1 plus number 2 equals to, actually it's good with some space here, equals to sum underscore. 5 plus 3 is 8. That is a problem. 5 plus 30 equals 8? It's not true either. So the problem is that sum, you can see here, the sum, it's a value that hasn't been updated yet. So it's a dynamic variable now, but we need to update it. So what I want to do is actually, I want to place in a button. And when I click the button, it should update this one. So let's do that. Let me see. tgb.button label equals calculate. So then I should get a button, right? So if I update this one, yeah, see there's a, and here, let's see. Yeah, actually I don't want it to be white like this. So what it has something called plain here. So it means I will get a plain button, and I will teach you styling in later videos. So right now I will be okay with the plain one. So let's do like this. So now I have a button. So I want to click this button and I want it to change the values, right? So I click the button, it should change the value. Okay, so what to do? There's something called on action. So on action means when I click the button, a function should fire. So let's create a function. So what function do I want? Well, we can do a function called perform calculation. Perform calculation. Okay, so let's create that one. Def perform calculation. And the input is quite special. So input from on action functions, it has to be state. So the state is the variable that where we have all our state variables. So this is a global variable. In this global variable, it has all other dynamical variables. So when we choose that something becomes dynamic by doing curly braces inside of our front end, then it will be placed in the state. So what we can do here is that we can do calculations based on this one. So what we can do is state.sum. So this is the variable, and the variable has become dynamic because we have placed it inside. We have placed it inside here, right? So it's dynamic. We pick it and we change it. State.sum equals to state dot number 1 plus number 2. Okay, run 52. Right. because it's a string, so it doesn't work like this. So let's not care about error handling. Let's just say that the user is super good at writing right things. So we just cast it to int. Okay, so 51 plus 3 and then calculato 54. Yes. Minus 3 should be 48. Not really working because we're doing int of this one. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Let's not care about that one. Let's see. I think it has become a problem because, yeah, type error. Let's see. Okay, there's an error here. I put in number 2. It should be state.number2. Of course, that number doesn't happen anything if we didn't put in the state, because it's the fixed variable. But now with the state, it should change. Okay, good. How about minus? Let's see if that works. Yeah, it works actually. No, it doesn't work because this one changed to... Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't work. It sees it as plus. Okay, so 8,200 plus 10. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. We need to calculate. I forgot to calculate before. That's why. Let's see if this one becomes minus. Yes, it becomes minus. Good. It works. Okay. So this is cool and all, but we do get this strange behavior, right? Now it doesn't change here because it changes when we click the calculate button, right? So what we want to do is to clear this number whenever we're typing something new here. So what I can do is I can do clear results on the input. So here, when I change something, so I type in some numbers, so then I do on change. On change, I will place in a function. I'll call it clear results. And then I will copy this one to my other input as well. On change, clear results. Okay, and that clear results state, let's see, state dot sum equals to empty. Yeah, that is all. Because whichever I type in here, then the sum should be empty. That's the idea. So I rerun this one. So now here we see the result. If I type in something else, yes, it's empty. Cool. Calculate 54. Yeah. Calculate 372. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so similarly, you can copy this one. Let's do product times. Let's do difference minus. Let's do quotient. Then we have division. Okay. So let's see. This one needs to be copied 4 times. Okay, how do I do quick copying? Shift Alt down button. Shift Alt down button. It will help you a lot. Okay, let's see. Minus times division. So this should be quotient. This should be product. This should be difference. Okay. Good, good. Are we done? No, we're not done, because even if they show here, yeah, this shows correct, but if I place in something else, only this one changes. Yes. So I need to place in similar thing here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. This should be difference. This should be product. And this should be quotient. Okay, and here we need to copy this also. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Minus times division. Okay, so 51. Everything changes. Calculate. It doesn't change the other ones, because here we see state.sum, state.difference. state dot product state dot quotient. Okay, how about now? Come on. 312. Yes, very small number. Can I see something maybe that I understand will be correct? Let's see, 10. Okay, everything disappears. Calculate. 15 minus 5, 50, 0.5. Good. It seems to be correct. Okay, so this is cool and all and a playful app. However, you might want to, if you are data driven, you want to have data to show, right? So let's continue with that. So we need to get some data. So from import plotly.express as px, and then we'll have gapminder. So df equals to px.data.gapminder. So this is a data that is provided from Plotly Express so that we get the gapminder data for free. So print df. So I run this one. You can see that, yeah, we get the data frame here. However, we want to show it on our web application, of course. So basically, I had the df, right? So tgb.table, and then we place in df as a dynamic variable, and it's here. If I update this one, yes, it's here. Here's my data frame. Cool, cool, cool. And if I want to show a few things, .head, then this should work as well. Yes, exactly. Then I get .head here. However, I want to have the whole data frame. Okay. Yes. So what can we more? We can make a graph as well. That is quite cool. So let's create a graph out of this one. So there's a country called Sweden where I'm located. So I will see the population growth of Sweden. Yes. So we have years here, 1952 to 2007 for each of the countries. So what we can do is like this. Line, data frame, df.query. Let's see, I want to query out Sweden. So country equals to Sweden. I need to have another quote here. Sweden. Okay, and I will call this fig. So this is a Plotly figure. And basically what I do here is tgb.chart figure equals my dynamical figure. So run this one. It has become some error somewhere. Plotly Express cannot process wide form data with columns of different type. Okay, great. What does this mean? Let's see what if I do like this. Control K, Control C to quickly comment. I'll print this one and see what I get. Let's see, I missed one parenthesis on this one. Okay, I get all the Sweden. Right, I need to Command K, Command U to uncomma X equals to year, Y equals to population. So pop. Like this, okay? So I will clean this out and basically run this one. And you can see there's a graph here. Magical. Okay, so here let's see a title as well. Title equals to country. Let's see, Sweden population. Like this. We run this one. You can see. Let's see here, Sweden population. Okay, good. So I will make this large now. And you can see this is how the app looks like. But I don't like that we have very small here or not so wide here, and then we get very wide here. So let's change that one. This could be 3 columns. It doesn't look very good, but we'll learn that later on. So I'll actually make it into full screen so that you can see when I change it. Let's do some layout. We have a container here. We can do with tgb.layout columns equal to 111. This means that we divide our screen into 3 equally sized columns, or we divide our container, which is this TGB part here, into 3 equally sized. So this one I will place here. Let's see the fruit. Okay. And also, I need to place it under with tgb.part because the first element, which was the text, will be in the first column, and then this one will be in second column, this one will be in third. However, I want to group all of them into one column, right? Then I use the part. So I will call it with a name that we can use later on. So column, let's see, I'll place this in. And then I want to, if I save this, look what happens. So everything looks the same now. However, I want to place this one. I'll copy this here. Shift down, Alt down to move it down. Column calculator. And I'll place, so let's see, here's the calculator. Okay, so this is part of this part. Then I will copy this one. This is column, let's call it data. Okay. Now it looks better, I think. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's still running, so rerun this one. Yeah, perfect. Now it's 3 columns. And you can see down here, there's a graph here. And maybe I don't want to show all of them, so I will do df.head10. Let's see, df.head10. Rerun this one. Yeah, okay. Good, looks good. Or not perfect, but just to show you that we can do some layout. And let's do also like this. I will decrease my screen. You can see that it follows along. Actually, this is not really good, but what you can do is you can fix it with media queries in CSS later on. And if you do like this, yes, because it has by default, it has a mobile view by default, so that is quite small width before it changes to the mobile view. So what you can do is that you could make a media query in CSS in order to change it with a larger pixel width. Okay. Yes, so now you've seen me working with Taipy and making a kind of dummy application, but it's quite fun to get started with new technologies, so that then it's good to make some kind of hello world example where you place in different stuffs and just try it out. And I would recommend that you continue to try out different features and different elements in Taipy and test out different reactive elements, etc. and how to make on changes and on action. Taipy, there's a lot of things that can be done, but it could get more complicated if you don't understand the basics. So I would like you to try and learn more before moving on to more advanced stuffs. Yes, thank you for watching this video. See you. Bye.